Welcome to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke. My soul's mission on this planet is to help fellow introverts grow their online influence in a state of feminine flow and ease. While battling the woes of depression, anxiety, and even mom guilt, I've somehow managed to build a six-figure blog without the use of social media and without sacrificing my mental health. If I can do it, you can fucking too. Hello, and welcome back to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. So after last week's holiday hiatus, where I told myself I wasn't going to work, but I did work just a little, but I didn't record a podcast. I was needing kind of a mental health week. I am feeling so much more rested and inspired now. So I hope you enjoyed your long weekend as well. And it's amazing what just some time away from your work, even if you love your work, sometimes you can get a little burnout. And so it's amazing what it'll do for your soul and even your creativity if you just take a step back every now and then. So if you're feeling drained and burnout right now, I'm giving you permission to play hooky and chill the F out for a minute, at least. So in the last episode I recorded before my break, I alluded to the fact that I've been going through a wonky, stressful period in my life. I'm definitely not in the flow right now. And it kind of just feels like, what the F, universe? Like, I'm trusting you. I'm playing on a bigger level here. I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. So why are you throwing like curveballs and almost giving me the vibe that I'm being punished for asking for more and doing the action steps to pursue my next level life? Is kind of how I feel. And I don't really want to rehash all of the stupid first world problems that have been thrown my way lately, because I'm really not in the mood to have a pity party, nor do I believe I deserve one. But it just feels like reality for me has gone haywire over the past few months, and it's just kind of been like one unexpected curveball after the other, like flat tire on the way to fix an excruciating abscess tooth kind of shit. That really happened. And even though I have definitely had some mini panic attacks, and even a few days where I've had to applaud myself just for getting out of the damn bed in the morning, coming from someone who has actually had to go to rehab before and has had clinical depression since childhood, I am patting myself on the back for handling it all as well as I have. Because here's the thing. Although I'm still not fully out of the bullshit, there is a quiet knowing and understanding of the energetics at play here. Because as I've said before, I work from the quantum paradigm where I know and accept that I co-create my reality with God, the universe, source, quantum field, fill in the blank, whatever feels more natural and intuitive for you. So 5 years ago, something very similar happened to me when I decided that I was going to stop playing small and show up more boldly. It all started when I got invited to go to this swanky event for the top influencers and bloggers put on by a very well-known publication. And I was 2.5 years into my blogging journey. I had little babies at home. I'd let myself go. I had no social life. I didn't know how to interact with humans anymore. And I received an invitation from this big magazine saying that I'd been recognized as a top influencer, and I was invited to go to their big annual celebration in New York at a fancy hotel. And being the introvert that I was really tempted to just throw the invitation in the trash and go on with my safe little life. But something inside of me told me that I needed to go and show up, put on my big girl panties, and step into the fullness of what I had created for myself up to that point. That was a big deal. Only 2.5 years into my blog, and I was being recognized as a top blogger. And not only that, but I thought it'd be really cool to meet some of the celebrity guests that they had, and just to mix and mingle with other attendees who I had admired from afar for years. So I decide I'm going to do this. I decide I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. And the week of the event, it's safe to say that shit just hit the fan. It started, it was like dead of summer, so hot. My AC unit goes out and I can't get anybody to come over and fix it. My son fractures his arm while I'm getting my nails done at the nail salon for the event. The babysitter calls me and is like, you're going to have to meet me at the children's hospital. So I leave the salon to go meet the babysitter. And then once we get back from his procedure, his surgery, I return to the 120-degree sweat lodge that is our house to make dinner, and I cut my finger. And I had to go back to the damn ER that night to get 9 stitches. And it doesn't even stop there, y'all. Like, my car engine started to smoke. You cannot make this shit up. But all that being said, the year leading up to this big event for me, that entire year is when I really got committed to yoga and meditation and learning about vibration and law of attraction type of work. So deep down, knowing what I had already began to learn, I knew that something more was at play here, like some weird subconscious self-sabotaging stuff. And then on the plane ride to the big event, the big day, I pulled out this book that I had bought in the airport gift shop while I was waiting for my flight. And the name of the book is called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And I could not believe my eyes when I began reading a chapter on the way to this event in the plane titled The Big Snooze. And in that moment, it all became so crystal clear what was happening to me. And not only that, it was almost like God or the universe winking at me when I did come upon this revelation. So, for any of you going through some weird happenings right now, I thought it would be helpful to read to you the lines that I read in this book that made it all make sense to me on an energetic level. So let me pull out my book. Okay, let's see here. Here it goes. The big snooze is like an overprotective Italian mother who not only doesn't want you to ever go outside, but who wants you to live with her forever. Her intentions are good, but fully fear-based. As long as you stay inside the familiar, risk-free zone of your present reality, the big snooze is content. But should you try and sneak past her to attend the rockin' party outside, your overprotective, controlling mother is going to claw, scratch, scream, bite, hurl her body in front of your rapidly approaching new life. Basically, she's going to do whatever she can to stop you, and it ain't going to be pretty. It's like when you quit smoking or doing drugs and you go into withdrawal. Finally, you've taken a leap and done something that's going to massively improve your life. And for days, sometimes weeks, you feel worse than when you were a wild child. You're hacking up all this nasty crap, ridding your body of toxins, shaking, sweating, puking, wondering why on earth you thought this was a good idea. It's really fun. Same goes for when we rid ourselves of limiting subconscious beliefs that have been holding us back and take a giant leap outside of our comfort zone. It's a detox of such staggering proportions that sometimes it can feel like the universe is conspiring against us. Trees fall on our cars, our computers crash, we find our significant others in bed with our best friends, we get our identity stolen, we get the flu, our roofs cave in, we sit and gum, when in reality, the big snooze is creating chaos in an attempt to self-sabotage and keep everything as is, instead of moving forward into unknown, yet desperately wanted new territory. Every successful person knows this and has been through this. When taking great leaps forward, life often turns to shit before it turns to Shinoa. So, it also goes on to say, growth ain't for weenies, but it's nowhere near as painful as living the life you're living right now if you're not really going for it. So, with that being said, if you've been living under a cave, You Are a Badass is such a great introduction to self-help as it relates to vibrational awareness and understanding in a very down-to-earth, practical way. But also, moral of the story here, if shit is hitting the fan for you right now after you've just committed to stepping outside of your comfort zone and pursuing your true desires, please be careful not to create some kind of jacked up story in your head where either A, you interpret all of these happenings as signs you can't really have what you want and that you're doing the wrong thing, or B, that God is punishing you for essentially asking for more and asking for a bigger life, because that's just a jacked up story that the big snooze has conditioned you to believe. Because God gave you the desires in your heart. So stay in your worth, quiet your mind daily to connect with your higher self and to connect with that vision of your higher self. And just know this is just the boring, low vibe part of your subconscious, the ego, that's essentially trying to keep you safe from lions in the jungle. And at the end of the day, certainty is a futile pursuit. So you've just got to keep moving forward to what truly lights you up. Stay in your calm, stay in your zen, and just recognize it for what it is. It's the big snooze. So, I hope you were able to find the parallels in this episode today. I really appreciate you hanging out with me this week. I make no money from this podcast, so the best way to show your support is by leaving a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you use, or by sharing this episode with a friend, or even better, by screenshotting this episode on your phone, uploading it to your Insta stories, and tagging me in it at Designing Vibes. Sending you my love.